Welcome back, and tonight I'm going to cook some okra, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we are going to wash it up. And I happened to get some really good okra at one of the local farms, which is really nice. I didn't get a ton of it, but this looks really good. And I was excited to see some okra, because at the grocery store, I usually can't find super good okra. So usually I end up getting it frozen. So to have it fresh is quite the treat. So the first thing you want to do, obviously rinse it off really well, and then cut off the end. And then we're going to just slice it up small. Now the okra has like the slimy stuff on it. I don't even know what it's called. And that's going to help the bread and the cornmeal kind of coat it, because it's naturally kind of slimy. So I'll do a few more and then I'll go ahead and turn off the camera because you don't need to see me cut up each and every okra. Now, I do this more often with frozen. Now, I want to show you, before I go any further, that this okra is like this size. So it's like the size of like, kind of like a little bit bigger than my fingers. If you have someone that grows okra and they give you some okra and it's really thick and large, because I've had that before, what I usually do there, instead of cooking it up like this, because it's not as tender, is I make it in either soup or a stew, because it's not as tender and it's going to end up being chewy. But if you make it into soup or a stew, it's just fine. So this is the perfect type for this sort of thing. Also, the other thing I like to do sometimes with okra is if I've had pickles and I'm done with my pickles and I have too much okra because somebody gave me so much okra, I'll cut it up like this, or I'll leave it whole and I'll put it in the pickle juice. And that's quite tasty. If you've ever had pickled okra, it's quite nice. All right, so I'll continue to cut this up and I'll be back soon. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next step. I'm going to put in this other bowl, this is how much okra I have. This other bowl, we're going to put some flour, and I'm just going to kind of guess on the amount here. So this is like a tablespoon, but not the type that you measure with, just like the type you would maybe have soup with or whatever. And I did like 3 heaping of this type of tablespoon, and I'm going to do a heaping of some cornmeal. I just keep my cornmeal in this type of container, and it keeps it a lot fresher, because cornmeal tends to go bad fast, I feel like. And now I'm going to use some Cajun seasoning. Now, sometimes I just use pepper and onion powder, garlic powder, and some other paprika and some other stuff. But tonight I'm going to use this. And if you like to use salt, you'll notice that I'm not adding salt, but I don't need to add salt because this has a lot of salt already added in. So there's no need to add extra. This has, for a 1/4 teaspoon, it has 330 milligrams of salt. So it's going to be a little bit on the salty side, but Cajun flavor is what would sound good to me tonight. And as I said, sometimes I do it different. You don't always have to do it the same way. And so we're going to add some of that to this. Kind of somewhat of a generous amount. And I'm going to see if we have enough. I'm going to just mix this up with my hands. And we're not, as I said before, we're not going to use egg or anything. We're just going to use, first of all, I rinsed it off so it was wet. And then it has a slimy texture once you cut into the okra. So I think I'm going to have enough. I'm going to start mixing this up. Make sure I still have some more flour. this is an easy way, I consider it an easy way to do okra. And let's just keep on mixing. Make sure we have enough. Maybe I should have gotten a bigger bowl. Okay. That might be okay. As long as I don't have any fly out of here. Just kind of turn it over. A bigger bowl would have been a better idea. But it's working. Okay. Just turning it. Getting it saturated with the cornmeal and flour mixture. Okay, so now we are ready to take this over to the range top. Okay, so we are going to use peanut oil tonight. Sure that it gets all over, and you can use whatever your favorite oil is. I would recommend peanut oil or sunflower oil. Corn oil, I find sometimes will get too hot, so you just have to be very careful if that's all you have. Olive oil might get a little bit too hot, so I would say sunflower or peanut oil. If you have canola oil, that would work also. My favorite oils to use are olive oil, sunflower oil, and peanut oil. So those are just my favorites, but there's other oils you can use if that's what you have around your house. So we're going to get this heated up. So we're just going to wait a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's starting to sizzle, so I'm just going to take handfuls of okra. It's okay about the extra flour. It's just going to brown. Okay, so if you have a small pan, you're going to want to do this in 2 batches. This pan happens to be big enough. I think it can handle all this okra. I'm making a little bit of a mess on the stove, but if I'm not making a mess, I am not cooking. Okay. Okay, I'm going to reduce the heat a little because I want this okra to cook through also and get browned. Okay, so you're going to want to start stirring it up pretty quick. I'm going to lay it flat again. And it's okay if some of it comes off, we had quite a bit on there. And now I'm going to cover it. And that's going to help trap the moisture in. Okay, so let's check on it. Starting to brown. Good thing. Just make sure it's flat in the pan. And we'll cover it again. We'll keep on cooking it at a slow rate, on low, slow and low. Okay, so I snuck a taste, let it cool down a little. It's not quite done yet, and it tastes very delicious, but I think I need a little bit of black pepper, a little bit extra. There's black pepper in that mix, but I'm just going to add a little bit extra. Stir it around a little. It's looking really good. It's getting close to very close to being done. This is not really taking a long time. But as I said, if you don't have a big skillet, you have to do this in 2 batches if you're doing this much. So basically what we want is it to be able to lay flat in the pan. so that's how much. And as you see, we're not using a lot of oil, so we just don't want it to stick. Okay, I think we're just about ready to pull this. Let's just take a look. It looks really good. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to start taking some of this out. Might have to grab a spoon to get the rest of it. I just want to show everybody how clean the pan is afterward too, where it does not make a huge mess, which is really nice also. Look at that. I have to take the pan off the burner, of course, otherwise it will become a big mess. So I just want to show you how nicely. And we really, like I said, we didn't use a lot of oil, so it's not going to taste oily. It's just going to taste delicious. So let's take it over to the countertop and do the taste test. Okay, so that's how much it made. And probably cooking time was about 15 minutes total. It was not long at all. Now I have to let this cool down just a bit. In the meantime, I'm just going to show you. I'm trying to show you the texture there. Okay. Time for the taste test. Take one at a time, probably. That is absolutely delicious. Perfect. It's cooked, but yet it's not mushy. Has very good texture, and the little seeds inside the okra, when you bite into them, they kind of pop. Just the right amount of breading on there makes a huge difference. So you're really tasting the taste of the okra, and then it's being complemented by the cornmeal and the flour and the spice. It's not overbearing. They're both complementing each other nicely. So I hope you try this recipe. It's very delicious, makes a great side dish, especially in the summer months. And you could also try it using frozen okra. If you try it using frozen okra, make sure that you set your frozen okra on your counter and have it defrost 100% before you get started. Otherwise, it won't turn out right. So, but if you find fresh okra, that's the best. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. For those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And if you don't, I hope that you do. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Share this video and please like it.